Bunny, 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 guru, bunny. Listen to one speaker, you get 3 speakers free. Bunny, bunny, bunny. Opportunity for Connect Karnataka. Bunny, listen to us. Knowledge is free of cost. You don't have to spend a money. Right? Is that the way we market? So if I'm audible, just give me a hands up. All okay? Fantastic. Thank you so much. The lights are pretty bright. So just trying to get in the mood because here we see a lot of companies across genres, across industries coming forward and trying to make a mark. Mark for themselves, mark for the state. When they create a mark and impression for the state, they also create a mark and impression for the rest of the world. In return, they are the brand ambassadors for India. Brand ambassadors for Namma Karnataka. Brand ambassadors for their state, their city, their district, their houses, their family. In return, not just monetary benefits, that's what we get out of businesses, but a legacy of a lifetime, right? So when I talk about Amul, what comes into your mind when you listen or you hear the word Amul? Anybody? Milk, fantastic. If I ask, what comes into your mind if you listen to Parle-G? Biscuit, fantastic. Suppose I say, what comes to your mind when I talk about 2 minutes? Fantastic. All the answers coming from one this gentleman is amazing. So what happens here? What am I trying to tell you guys? In spite of these brands, be it Parle-G, be it Maggi, be it Amul, you still see their ads on the TV. You see them sponsoring mega events. You still see them participating in the industry in spite of they being giants. Why? What is the reason for it? The most important reason is human mind share is very limited. We don't remember the good, we remember the bad. You get my point? Suppose you go to a restaurant, madam. You go to a restaurant, right? So imagine you like the food. It's amazing. Do you go and give a 5-star rating? You give a 5-star rating, right? But imagine the food is bad. What will you do? You will not even go to that restaurant again, but you'll also give -1 probably, and you'll also go and tell your entire family. You'll also go and tell the entire world on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. Don't ever go to this place. That food is horrible. It's a waste of money, correct? This is what happens when you talk about a brand. A brand recall aspect, each and every individual, whether you know me or I don't know you, the funda is each one of us are brands. We all have an identity. The only difference is most of us know a selected people, selected companies, selected brands because they keep seeing it again and again and again and again. Before I could enter the stage, none of you knew me. The minute I came onto the stage, now you know that, okay, I'm a speaker, you know my name, or you might know the topic that I'm talking about. But if you don't keep seeing me again and again and again, if you don't subscribe to my YouTube channel, if you don't subscribe to me on my Instagram or on my Facebook, you will not even remember my name tomorrow. The logic is, if you are into business, you will have to be on the top of the share of the mind of your customer. That is what we're going to talk about it, and how, what is the mantra behind it is something which we will discuss in today's free talk, right? So if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand in between my speech or any way you want to talk about it. Let's make it interactive and make it meaningful, right? So, very, very important, you can hear this out. When you hear this slide, it says, how do you see yourself versus how do others see you? Most of us live with the mindset that my brand is visible, my product is good, I don't need to market it. If my product is good, customers will automatically come and buy my product. Customers will automatically get to know because my word of mouth is very large, very big. Correct? Most of us have this mindset. Correct? But marketing teaches you totally opposite. It tells you that if you're good, don't just tell you're good, make your customers also tell that you are good. It's not about how you see yourself, but how others see you is more important, especially in today's world. As students, yeah, as students of GEMS B School, right? You also have an understanding as to what internal qualities you all have, right? But how will the companies know you? What qualities do you have apart from being from GEMS Business School, or apart from doing MBA or BCom or BBA, BM, whatever it is? How will these companies know how good you are? Unless you go to the social media, unless you go and show your work on LinkedIn, on Facebook or Instagram, people do not know you. Like, I wouldn't have come onto this stage if I didn't know A, B, C, D, E, F, G people. You get my point? If I didn't know Sandeep, I would have never come onto the stage. I would have not even know what Connect Karnataka is all about. This is the power of networking. It's about importance of you telling people what you are good at and how do people want to be seen as, right? Who you are and who can you be. That's also very important. Number one is perception. This side of the board is perception. That is your capability. We all know that when we go to a gym, right? If suppose I ask you, madam, once again, next madam. Madam, if I tell you to run 5 kilometers, will you run 5 kilometers, madam? 5 kilometers, sir, 5 kilometers, will you run? Oti you 5 kilometers, so? Will you run 5 kilometers? 10 kilometers, lovely. Suppose, sir, if I ask you, madam, if I ask you, can you run 10 kilometers, will you run 10 kilometers? Absolutely not. But imagine if I tell sir that, sir, there is 1 crore award if you run 20 kilometers. Will you run, sir? You get my point? You get my point? No problem, sir. My funda is that for you to exceed your limitation, you would feel that you can run 10 kilometers, but just because you have a solid reward, that you are able to foresee, you are ready to run even 20 kilometers. Correct? Now imagine that there is a mother who's taking care of her kid, and she has to protect her kid from maybe fire or maybe some danger. The mother will run 100 kilometers if it requires to, because she has to protect her child. Correct or wrong? Whether it's a mother or a father or a family, right? So what happens here is, you know that there is a possible outcome that you have to run towards. This exactly is the concept of marketing. Marketing is all about creating what the customer can get if they buy your product. That comes when you have solid brand recall value. Ask yourself, what will you be like to be remembered as? If you're running an ice cream company, or if you're running a dry fruits company, or coffee, or machinery, foods, manufacturing of EVs, batteries, equipments, gym equipments, medical equipments, whatever be your product or service, what would you like to be remembered as? The minute I asked you what is Amul, everybody will say what? The taste of India. You get my point? The minute I ask you what's 2 minutes, you say Maggie. 2 minutes. The minute I ask Parle, you say glucose biscuit. You get my point? You understand how the mind recall value is? Suppose I say, if your kid has to become stronger, if the kid has to have healthy bones and stronger body, what will you give the kid? Complan. The minute you want the kid to grow taller, what will you give? Horlicks. You get my point? The minute you want the kid to enjoy chocolate drink, what will you give? Bonvita. You see how people are very, very clear about how you want them to remember us. You get my point? I could have aramse told that my name is Kumail Kirmani. Okay, fine, I'm A, B, C, D, E, V, E, F, G. But I added the word professor next to my name because you might forget my name, but you might not forget the fact that I was a professor. You get my point? Who was that guy here who was talking so much in that event? Some professor guy. You get my point? And the second aspect is that you might go and search and then you might find my name at least. If you are interested in getting the recall value of my brand. That is something that a brand needs to understand. Each one of us, irrespective of whether we are into B2B or B2C, it doesn't really matter. What really matters is, in today's era, if we are able to create a brand recall value into the minds of your audience, you have won the battle. Of course, there are scientific ways of understanding the 5 Whys, the Kipling's model, right? So we're talking about who you are, what you are, when do you really want to become a big brand, where are you coming from, and why, the 5 Whys, the aspects of the Kipling method. The Kaizen is a Japanese concept after the World War as to how did Japanese rule the world of manufacturing. This is a manufacturing and franchisee expo, right? So we have to look up to somebody. Like, for example, if I ask you, who's the god of cricket? 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 Sachin Tendulkar, right? Nobody is going to forget his name just because he's retired, right? But who's the best captain for India? You see the difference? God of cricket is different, but the best captain is different. They all play sports. Suppose I ask you, who's Virat Kohli? How will you remember Virat Kohli? What comes into your mind if I ask you Virat Kohli? Anushka Sharma? No, right? You talk about his innings that he played with Pakistan immediately. You get my point? That's the kind of brand value that he has. The minute he drops somebody's catch, you will also remember that. The funda is because it is happening immediately in your mind. This is the reason that Kaizen plays a very important role. Kaizen is all about improving small steps every single day. You have reached one customer, reach two. You reach two, you reach three. You reach three, you reach six. But each and every time you cannot say that my brand is good enough, I'm making 25, 30 crores, annum, turnover is fine, ashte sak namge. We don't need to really scale up, it's okay. Whether people buy it, people don't buy it, it's not. The fact that Amul is still advertising even after 100 years, the fact that Coca-Cola is about 150-year-old company, but they still they sponsor companies, they buy brands. Still, you have never heard of the, I'm sure none of you would have used the product of Byju's. Anybody Byju's customers? You get my point? But if I ask you, what is the impact that layoffs have happened into your personal life or your child's education, you would not be able to give me a right answer because it is nothing related to you directly. It is something related to the brand. So you need to understand the impact of single improvements that you have to make step by step. Any questions so far? Is this very clear? The purpose is about what do you have to offer to your customers. 5 Why approach, the cause and effect. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you into a business? What is the purpose of this business? Is it to make money? Is it to make a difference to the society? Is it that you have some skills and you want to help solve a particular problem? You need to be very, very clear about it. If you want a distributor, why do you want a particular distributor? Just because he's got money and he knows that I can distribute a product to 1 lakh, FMCGs and other shops and so on and so forth. Is that the reason? No. The particular person who approaches you need to be in line and accomplished to your cause and effect model. And the last part, the DMAIC model. What is this DMAIC model? It's about defining your goals, measuring it, analyzing it, improving it step by step, and finally, the control aspects of it. If this DMAIC model is inside your business, be it your professional life, be it your business, be it your personal life, mind you, my dear friends, this is just not a business concept. You can work this concept for your personal life. Even if you have a want to understand or measure how good your relationship is with your father, mother, children, husband, wife, spouse, friends, brothers, sisters, these models are something that you will be able to evaluate each and every day. That's a very important aspect about this. Guess who? Who is this? Anybody? Any idea? Cabby, yes. Anybody? I'm sure the young generation, the Generation Z, are aware of who Cabby is. None of you would understand who this person is, but because if you're not on TikTok, if you're not on Instagram, I don't think you would have seen this guy ever. This is Cabby Lame. His 2021 value is 37 crores for doing nothing. He just does this. For every simple things, avanu ishte martane ishte. That's all he does. He's never spoken a word. He's got the best of brands. He's been to the best of branding organizations as such, best of events. People follow him just because of his style. Simple. But he's been doing that over the last 6 years. From pandemic, of course, it started, but imagine the kind of impact that has happened even before 3 years before the TikTok could come into his life. He became famous during lockdown. Please try to understand how impactful it is. He lost his job. Why is it related to us? The next slide will be able to help you understand who this person is. Who is this person? Who else? Who else? Who else? Cristiano Ronaldo. Everybody who loves football will understand that he's Cristiano Ronaldo. I have not shown you his face. I have not shown you his number. But because of his iconic style, you get my point? That is his signature. The signature is nothing but how a brand is memorized into your audience's mind. The minute you see a Coca-Cola ad, every Coca-Cola ad will have a girl or a guy drinking it when he's sweating or she's sweating, and you find that sweat coming out on the body. Very, very clear cut feeling that when you're feeling hot, when you're feeling tired, drink Coca-Cola. They don't tell you this, but they show it to you. Why? Because the visual impression is much, much stronger than the verbal impression. You're able to understand this? The previous guy, what was his net worth? 37 crores. Can you guess what is Cristiano Ronaldo's net worth? You would be surprised that he is 100 times more than Cabby Lame. And this guy has the guts to remove the Coca-Cola bottle and place it outside because he knows that Coca-Cola is not good for him. He doesn't allow his child to drink Coca-Cola, and he knows that he's bigger than any brand. It doesn't matter, right? For you to build that brand, stay focused on your core skills. He is not into advertisements. He is not into promoting nonsense stuff. He is very clear that he wants to be the best football player till the time he lives, forever at least. There's always a combination of Messi versus Ronaldo and so on and so forth. Byju's would have tied up with Messi, but how does it matter? Right? This guy still takes the cake. Finally, the brand mantra that you and I will take forward from this speech is about understanding the 5 I chakra. In today's world, whether we are meeting people in the offline structure, we have this expo, we meet face to face. 2 years back, this was not happening because of pandemic. But if you do not use the power of internet in today's world, you might be a small company who's selling papad, murku and, snacks. Or you might be a very small company who's selling pickles or some homemade chocolates or some popcorn or some medicinal herbs or some shampoos or soaps. Irrespective of what you are selling, internet, the power it has to make your product reach the world. You might not have people to buy outside your 6-kilometer radius zone. You might not have customers who might not buy your product outside the radius of 6-7 kilometers, maybe your city, maybe your state. But the power of internet can make your brand go global. With this, you need to create the other 4 aspects. Interest. Not just the interest that you have towards your business, but does your customer have interest in your product? Second thing is investment. When you want to set up a stall into such place, you might have to spend 25, 30, 40, 50, 1 lakh rupees to set up a stall, right? That's the minimum investment for 2 days. Imagine if you had invested that same 1 lakh along with this is very important. Along with this, imagine if you had a budget, a yearly or a quarterly budget of at least 1 lakh rupees for your internet penetration in the market. Be it Instagram, be it YouTube, be it Facebook, be it Google Ads. Your brand awareness, whether people buy from you or no, that's not the point. The funda is how many people remember you. That is very important. And that happens when you have the right investment in the right product. The third and the fourth one is about the infrastructure. It takes, for this two-day event, the planning, the execution would have taken months to give you this platform like Connect Karnataka. People would not have slept in the last 1 week. With this rain outside, with the weather condition outside, the traffic jams outside, you do not know. For you to come in the morning at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock to put up your stall, it would have been a very easy task. But for somebody to organize this for you and to bring people and to market, they would have broken their back for months together. They might have made a lot of losses also. But the funda is not about profit and loss on your balance sheets. It's about, did I make an impact into my customer's mind? Was I being able to get one customer per stall? Were we able to create awareness of a product or services in the minds of our customers and investors and freelancers or franchisees or manufacturers or distributors or whoever is the stakeholder in this expo? That is your infrastructure. The last part is about information. How good are you in creating that information about your product, your services, about you, about your brand value into the minds of the customer? Now this is the most important aspect of the 5 I chakra. Of course, it's very, very important. And the last part of it, which will control the entire 5 I chakra, is innovation. How innovative are you in showcasing your product or services? Like for example, I see, Buyer's Coffee outside. Everybody has a stall and he's got a cart right inside with the lightings. Now he's been able to create an impact. It might be a product which consumers are able to consume immediately. Try and test this coffee and stuff. He might be having about 10 other products. But the eye-catching aspect of how innovatively he could decorate the stall wins the heart and the minds and the mind recall value of the customer. With this, I wish and I hope each one of you had something that you can take from this session, from this time that you have spent in listening to us, watching people do businesses. If you have any questions, I am so happy to take it one-on-one, in person, however you want to wish to. Connect with me on Instagram, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm available with the same name, Kumail Kirmani. Yes, that is my identity. Yes, so reach out to me and I would be more than happy to assist you, share my experiences with you, and if you have any questions, I'm so glad to take it forward. Thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you all and sharing my knowledge with you all. Thank you so much.